I don't know, like, she's out there. You're the Florida version of Sex in the City, JD.
That's when I was smoking my cigar.
Don't be an asshole today.
Hey,
Hello, hello. How are you doing? Am I wired to sound?
oh my, yeah, you sound great.
Hang on one sec. Let's give that a spin.
How's that?
Oh, there she jolly well is. How are you doing?
It's so good to see you, Kathy Caton. Oh my God,
It's been a lifetime.
it's been like 10 freaking years.
It absolutely has, during which I have aged badly. I can tell you. How are you doing?
Look at you. You look younger. How is that possible?
Every filter going on. It's the punishing aesthetic of the news booth studios. Just grey all round is what does it.
Very professional. I mean, look at your hookup and look at mine. What's happening?
How's Trix? How are you keeping?
You know what? Pretty good. I got to tell you, pretty good. And I was telling my co-host JD couldn't be here, and she really, really wanted to meet you because I was telling her, I think it was in our last program, that you were one of the first people, that actually gave me the time of day back when I first moved here, like 10 years ago, and you invited me to the studios in Brighton. Have a chat about the lesbian lounge. And I got to tell you, I walked away from that and I thought, wow, if everybody's like this is going to be a really smooth transition.
And how's it been? That's the question.
Well, let's say it's about 75% of what I thought it would be. It's a little hard to fit in. There's nothing I can do. I'm always going to stick out like a sore thumb. So whatever. But still doing it.
Awesome. Absolutely brilliant. Good on you.
You know what, though? I have been following your journey for years. And, I
obviously don't believe anything you see on social media. That's the first thing to say.
Business wise, let's say, Brighton Gin is yours. And, the thing is, I feel like I've watched it grow. I've watched the inception, watched it grow. And it's just so damn impressive. It's so impressive to see what you've done. I remember, Kathy, you starting out riding a bike, dropping off gins to places. And I was
absolutely. Well, we've kind of gone back to that, actually. So I'm going back to my origin stories at the moment, literal origin. Yeah, no, it's been quite a thing, to say the least. So that's been 10 years or so now, which is kind of shocking. It feels very grown up for it to be in double digits. But yeah, that's been a bonkers.
You are nailing the adulting thing.
Oh my God.
Nailing it.
I know so many people who would not agree with that statement.
But you know what? I've had the gin and I love the gin. And I need to know what made you go from having your radio show to deciding, you know what? I'm gonna make a gin down here in Brighton, and I'm gonna call it Brighton Gin. And let's see what happens.
It's been absolutely crackers, because it's basically my life has flipped over. So what used to be my side hustle, which was my gin passion and learning how to make gin, is now my job with a company and employees, which is absolutely terrifying. And then what used to be my job, which is radio, is now my side hustle. So it's a total swap around, and quite a healthy one, actually. But yeah, I just had this proper light bulb moment 11 years ago now, when I was going for a run down the seafront, having had a very, very late night on the gins the night
on
before.
the gin.
Very much on the gin, dancing around my ex's kitchen table, sozzled on the gins, and going for a run the next day. And I just had this absolute light bulb moment of going, oh bloody hell, if I'd been drinking anything other than gin, I wouldn't be off my sofa, let alone going for a run. Oh my God, gin is the one thing that lets you get away with it. Brighton is a place that needs to get away with it pretty much on a daily basis. Oh my God, Brighton needs its own gin.
It is fantastic. Brighton it's my favorite place to go so far in all of England. And I feel like I've been kind of everywhere. I haven't been like northern, but in Brighton is
You're
just
due a visit. You're due a visit.
I always say that, we're not that far from it. And it's just, the eclecticness, the acceptance, the diversity, it's all that.
Yeah. And I think things are really, really coming back to life as well now, kind of post COVID.
Yeah.
Everyone's out a lot. It feels we've had a few, sunny days where the days are getting longer. It's like, oh my God, spring is coming.
Nice.
Summer's coming.
Yes.
Let's all get out and be social and see each other again and see if we have any social skills left. Not many. So,
Your passion is gin. And I feel like that's like one of the most British statements I've made in all the years I've been here. Like, your passion is gin. But it is. And you're so passionate about it. Did you know how to make gin? Did you learn how? Did you do it like for self-serving purposes first? Like, I drink in so much gin, I'm just gonna make my own.
absolutely. Do you know, I definitely would put myself in the passionate consumer end of the
Yeah.
category, where I knew absolutely the square root of bugger all about making gin, but I've always drunk it. I drank it when I was at university in the 90s, so when I was really young, and it was so uncool. Bartenders used to actively laugh in my face when and they go, "Ooh, that's a nan's drink," would be this phrase you'd hear back.
That's funny.
So kind of the journey that's been on, the category in and of itself, that from being this really laughed at, it's a granny's drink,
It's a nan's drink.
a nan's, ooh, it's a nan's drink. Now you can't swing a duster without hitting a gin or a gin school or all sorts of things. So it's really kind of, it's amazing what's happened over the last.
It's
11
really
years.
taken off. Like, and I
Totally.
know I was bartending at a pub for a little bit, and it was right at the beginning of the flavored gin explosion. I mean, like, we had rhubarb and ginger, we had Parma violet, we had every flavor imaginable, and it went from just like Beefeater, slice of lemon, bottle of tonic, to all of a sudden, like, having to turn around and look at all the different gins and figure out what. Yeah, it's just been crazy. And I actually went to a gin tasting right before the pandemic. It was the July, right before everything started closing up that December. And it was down, in London, kind of, it felt like very warehousey and cool. And all of a sudden I felt like, look at me, I'm going to a gin tasting. And I ended up buying a bottle that was made purely from botanicals from Kew Gardens.
Oh, very nice.
You know what? I haven't opened it because it's such a lovely bottle and box, and it's got the Q thing on it, and it's got all the. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm just gonna keep it. It's pretty. And that's the other thing I love about your bottle, is that it encompasses Brighton.
Oh, thank you. We've tried our absolute best, whether it's in the design of the bottle, what goes in the bottle, the people who are making it. It's all as Brighton as we can possibly.
It really is. It really is. And every time I've gone down there, any place I go serves it.
Excellent. Well, if they don't, feel free to ask for it in a very loud voice, and then leave in disgust if they don't.
Oh, forget it. I'm out of here. But so let's talk a little bit about how you created it, because there is a balance to juniper, and like there's a real balance to it. So did you strike out a lot before you went, this is the one?
Absolutely. It's like, I think it's like making a souffle. It's something that's very, very simple in theory, doesn't need very many ingredients. It's a straightforward thing, but there are 3,000 different ways that you can screw it up, and it's exactly the same with gin. And actually, when I first was starting off, and I bought this dodgy still. I bought it off eBay for about 90 quid. Had it on my kitchen hob at home in my very low ceilinged flat. None of this I recommend, actually. If you're thinking about starting up gin, get some ceiling height, get a fire blanket, do lots of research before you start doing things. And I just completely overdid it, because at that point, I didn't realize that what happens when you distill stuff is you absolutely draw all of the flavor out of things. So I just completely overdid it in terms of botanicals and stuff that's in there. And sometimes actually less really is more. There's a fine line between something being
Yeah.
delicious and
Yep.
then being completely overpowering. So
Right.
yeah, I made all sorts of terrible stuff that I still use for cleaning at home. It smells like gin because it's full of pine and lovely smells, but oh
Yeah.
my God, you do not want to drink it. But one thing that I love about that is first of all, I don't mind admitting about the number of mistakes that I've made, because it's
Yeah.
when you make it's only a mistake if you don't learn from it.
Right. Exactly.
So and they were all just little markers on the journey of trying to get this thing right and then getting it repeatable, which was a whole other world of pain. But
Of course, because you kind of have to record what you did, in order to match it for the next time. And oh my God,
exactly,
yeah.
and trying to get the process as similar as possible, so you can hopefully get a product that tastes in the same ballpark. But it's
Right.
really, really difficult. And also, I'm not naturally methodical. I'm like, oh my God, I'm excited, I want to do stuff. But
Yeah,
actually,
that's me.
I
That's me.
really got into
Get to the
spreadsheets
end
and keeping
result as fast as possible.
yeah, and actually
Yeah.
sometimes taking your time and being methodical is one of the things that I've had to learn from it and through it. Yeah, it's been a really interesting process.
It is incredible now that I've been to a tasting, because we actually went to, an actual distillery, and they walked us through the process and all that. And, it is really, for it being such a simple thing, it's really, you can't mess it up, like it's very detail oriented and everything. And I was amazed at what goes into it. And and also, like you were saying, you did this in a little flat. This place was not big
Yeah.
that we went to. It was really, really small. It was no like tour through like the Guinness factory. You know what I mean? It was like literally like a converted garage, maybe, or garage.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, and then a little table, because they only took like 4 people at a time for the
Yeah.
tasting, and
Yeah.
it was just it's crazy. But people are passionate, like when you can hone in on your passion and then craft something out of that and then make a business. I mean, it's it's
No, it's kind
really,
of
really impressive. It's
it's kind
really,
of it's absolutely bonkers as well, because I think that thing of going from that, and I can really remember that light bulb moment of this idea, and then yeah, and now got a team. We're exporting gin to 16 countries around the world. We remain one of not just the UK or Europe's, but one of the world's only LGBTQ plus owned and run distilleries. I love that within our team we represent every letter of the LGBTQ plus acronym, which is pretty cool and not bad going, because there's only 7 of us. So
not
but
far
I just,
off.
but
If they had any more letters, you're gonna
yeah,
have
I
to.
know exactly. So yeah, it's
This is
just
Jake. He's polyamorous.
exactly. It's yeah, and also one of those employees is my mum, so I don't know where she's going to fit in and in this categorization. But yeah, so it's just really, really nuts to think about that and how things have kind of developed and gathered pace. And I guess also turns out we were one of the kind of original and early craft distillers. And it's I can't believe it's now my job. What a
in
ridiculous
the
job to
middle,
have.
right? Yeah, in the middle of all this, the pandemic hits,
Oh, yeah.
and you quickly, on a dime, like shifted and was putting out hand sanitizers, which was a hot commodity there in 2020. I mean, I
Yeah.
got it. I think I ordered some from you. And it's just, you, it's funny because everybody was like, schools were doing online school, and businesses were closed, deliveries, were becoming huge. And it was like you were watching like businesses adapt, like I know, like my old co-host Donna works for this company that links about 250 LGBT centers, and they do, seminars and conventions and fundraisers. And she was, flying all over the country, and all of a sudden they had to figure out how to do everything online, how to continue doing the fundraising and all that. And, so I was watching all that, but then like I follow a lot of small crafty alcohol businesses, like Queer Brewing and you
Oh
guys,
yeah,
and,
absolutely. I think
like
it's a healthy hobby.
Rebel and all these little places, shifted and they were doing, making the hand sanitizers out of their product. And it was like genius because that was the thing everybody needed at the
And
time.
and also, I mean, when all of and it feels like another life. It's so weird to think that's only in the last, couple of years because it feels
I
like
know
such
it. And I keep
weird
feeling it's
ancient
not done
history.
yet. It's not done
Yeah,
yet.
yeah, exactly. I know. I don't want to
Everything
say
is pre or post,
yeah,
yeah.
it's probably still transitional, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, because when hospitality shut, that basically shut 85%, 90% of our order book straight away. And I thought it was going to be the end of the business.
Yeah.
But and at the time, and again, it feels like such a different time, but there'd been footage of nurses crying because they can't get hold of any PP and all of this kind of stuff. And looked around the distillery and it's like, well, we may not have any gin business left, but what have we got? We've got alcohol, we've got the skills to do stuff, and we've got the will to help.
Yeah.
We also decided that the day we decided to make hand sanitizer, and this all happened over just a couple of days, but we also decided we were going to do it as a not-for-profit thing. So under my colleague Rachel came up with the brilliant tagline of "Spray it forward rather than pay it forward."
Brilliant.
And every
Yeah.
time somebody bought a hand sanitizer off our website, that then basically paid for 2 more to be donated, and we donated thousands, tens and thousands of hand sanitizers to NHS wards, delivery drivers, actually, guys and gals who were getting food to people who couldn't get out or who were isolated.
Right.
Yeah, it was a really what a bizarre time of our lives to do. But I'm really glad that we did that as a not-for-profit thing. It was
Yeah.
the right thing to do to support
Oh,
the community.
definitely. Yeah.
Also, I felt so glad that we could actually be physically busy, and I was cycling around all over town delivering these things around and about through deserted Brighton, cycling in the middle of the road because there weren't any cars on the
Of
street or
course.
anything.
Yeah.
And I'm really, I'm glad that we did that. It was the right thing to do, to not for profit from that
Right. Yeah. To
terrible
not try and make money off of this
Mm.
awful situation, but to actually contribute something that was so needed. It was.
I mean, my bank manager may have a different opinion, of course. Probably shouldn't mention that, but
Yeah, but no, I mean, you at least you can look back and say, like, look what we did. Like that's that's got to feel amazing, and to be able to keep your team together, like so many people lost jobs and people couldn't afford to have them and in all the different industries across the board. So yeah, that was just a great pivot, in a moment of need, and being so lucky to be able to do it. But now that people are back out and drinking, you said you're shipping out to 16 different countries.
Yeah, which is also completely bonkers because we do absolutely everything by hand, whether it's peeling the fruit for the distillations to hand waxing and labeling each bottle. It's all hand done. So the idea that stuff that we've done from our, and it's funny when you talk about going to that distillery that was basically garage. It's like we're in an old garage at the moment. That's where our current distillery, and the idea that bottles that we're making there are going off to Taiwan and Australia, and soon they'll be going to Canada. It's just nuts.
Oh, fantastic!
It's a good nuts though. It's a really exciting thing.
I got to get you over to the States. I need my
Your mission.
Mother, my mom, when she came over here, I think it was for 2 Christmases ago. 2 Christmases ago, she was here. Traveled in the middle of the pandemic, which was pretty risky at the time. Yeah, she's older and she has MS, so it's not easy for her to travel, anyways. But she walked in the door, and the first thing I did, was make her a gin and tonic because, like, I don't know that she drinks it that much in the States, but when she's here, it's like she feels like it's an obligation. I'm in England, I have to have a gin and tonic. And it's fine. I bought her this little tiny tester set,
Yeah.
all different flavors. And she loved that. And, I didn't think, oh God, this is probably not the right thing to do the day that they got in, because they're overtired, overstimulated. They haven't eaten that much. And I got her and my stepdad tanked, absolutely tanked. And then I was like, I felt so bad.
I would say
But,
that's a traditional British welcome. I think you were
yeah.
fully appropriate to do that.
I thought we started a new tradition.
Yeah.
Next time she comes, we're just gonna. But she tried the Brighton Gin, because I made sure that I had some on hand for her, so I could say, "This is my friend's."
Yeah.
And she loved it. And then she, all she kept saying is, "I don't want to. I don't want to drink it all. I want to be able to take the bottle home." And I want to be able to buy it when I'm out, and I'm like, I'm going to work on that for you. I'm going to make that happen for you. I'm going to work on that for you. So
Awesome.
I'm going to send you a list of like, it's really different. And this is funny because, there's still things after being here years and years, that blow my mind, that you can walk into this tiny little news agent, which would be the equivalent of a mini mart,
Yeah.
like where I'm from, and buy liquor. Like, that's unbelievable. I'm used to going into a box store sized place,
Yeah.
that is all it sells is booze and wine, and it's overwhelming. It's bigger than like the biggest Waitrose you've ever seen. It's like a Costco, but only booze.
Yeah.
So it's so overwhelming. And then you're standing in front of like rums or whatever, and you're just like, looking for the one that
Yeah.
it's crazy. And there's like sample things. Like, if you think about like Majestic Wine over here, times that by like 100.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I'm talking about. So I'm going to give you the name of those places, and
Excellent.
and that's where I want to be able to walk into, one of those ABC Liquors, I think is one of the big ones, and Total Wine is another one. I just want to be able to walk in there and buy my mother a bunch of bottles and
Oh,
bring it home and let her drink till her heart's content.
absolutely brilliant. Oh, maybe she could be my secret weapon. She can go in and ask.
Yeah.
Asking a
Well,
loud voice again.
I'm going in March, so I'm gonna make it a
Brilliant.
point. Yeah, I'm gonna make it a point to do that, and then get a contact for you too, so you don't.
Excellent. Well, it's one of my goals for this year. So if you can help me, that would be awesome.
Yeah, great. You got a foot in the door for Canada. I mean, that's
Yeah,
quick.
I know. That's also. I hope I haven't jinxed it by saying it out loud, but I think it's where that's going to be good to go. It's certainly going to be the first market that I've dealt with where we suddenly have to think about what times of year we can ship stuff, so it doesn't freeze on the way because
Oh,
of the weather. So yeah, that's an interesting
didn't even think about that. Yeah.
thing to never hear in little old south of England where nothing is extreme ever.
Isn't that crazy? Because don't most people, or maybe it's just vodka, but people keep like vodka in the freezer, right? But you
Yeah,
can't do that with
absolutely.
gin?
Yeah, you definitely can, and it's delicious just in served straight from the
Yeah.
freezer. But
No
yeah, it's more like
dilution,
about
ice.
the
Yeah.
glass shattering, or we make cans about the cans exploding or whatever because of the
Yeah. Yeah.
it's going to be -30 or something. Absolutely unthinkable. But exciting, really exciting.
Wow. Yeah. Who would have thought?
Yeah,
That's crazy. Well, we'll start with Florida, so you don't have to worry about that.
excellent. I
Right?
know,
My
and as
mom's in Florida. We'll start with Florida. We'll get the warmer places, maybe Tennessee, Mississippi, those kind of, that don't get hit too hard with winters, but
awesome. And also I think, and I'm really, really keen as well to get Brighton Gin to places where I want to go and spend some time and hang out, because that's one of the things you need to do. So it may as well a bit
yeah.
ropey as an export strategy, isn't it? But I think it is about going to places where you want to go and spend some time and meet
People love a
people.
little, like, people like the face-to-face, don't they? They want to know who they're dealing with. Yeah. Yeah,
What they're dealing with
exactly.
is something that's rapidly aging, actually. So maybe maybe on my younger colleagues
I
needs
don't
to
know,
know.
but every time I go home, I go to my mother, look, I'm whiter and whiter, like I'm I'm like a real Brit. I'm almost translucent.
Oh, it
You're
happens.
down in Brighton, so you get a little,
I get
sun while
weathered.
you're out there on the bike. Yeah, that's
Exactly.
beautiful. Yeah, it's the perfect spot for the perfect business.
Oh, well, I can't wait for you to come and visit. The arms are open, welcoming you down. So you must, must.
I'm gonna definitely make a plan, because I'm not quite sure if you know the band Eek,
Yep.
the girls, right?
Yep.
So we're really good friends with Lucy and Mandy, and
Oh.
we always talk about, because they're all the way in Birmingham, and we're always like, come, come this way. We'll all go down to Brighton, and we'll hang out for the weekend. And Mandy with the dogs, like, she just like, that's just a great atmosphere. So yeah, we're gonna put something together, and we'll make sure like that you're there, and not to supply us, because I'm not gonna take advantage of our friendship like that. Not to supply us, but just to come visit with us.
Well, it would be absolutely blinking awesome. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it would be
More of
so
that kind of thing as well.
perfect.
Yeah.
I'm so happy with the success of Brighton Gin, and this for you. It's a wonderful thing when you see your friends succeed. Like, it makes for me, it makes my heart swell. Like, I'm like,
Oh,
oh
thank you. Thank you. I
yeah.
mean, it is ridiculous. Every day something more ridiculous happens, but sod it. It's a real adventure. I think that's the other thing, is it really feels like we're on this adventure, and we're trying to do things a bit differently as well, and make sure that we do things in a very Brighton way, like everything being handmade, like doing stuff to support the community, but also having lots of fun, because booze should be fun. It should be a fun thing.
Exactly, man. That's the brand. That's the brand.
Absolutely. Yeah,
But,
completely.
like, when you say that, I feel like when you keep it that way, and everybody's hands on, and you're doing things right there locally, and specifically, that quality comes through in the product. Like, that's why, like, I think that's why it's taken off. Like, people respect that, and so not only
You
are you
can come
getting
again.
a quality product, but they see the type of business that you are, and I think there's a lot of respect in that.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah, like I say, you can definitely come again with that kind of positive attitude. That gets you invited.
Most definitely. Like, we next time we come down there, we're just all gonna have to get together and have a real uh thorough catch up.
Definitely, definitely. Oh, and also I think, it really feels like things like, defrosting literally and metaphorically, and lots of people want to be out and see
Yeah.
each other, and being in the same place, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't, honestly, I do not get out that much at all. I work from home. I'm always here. It's everything I do is local. Like, everything, I live like right off High Street. So, your bank, your hairdresser, your doctor, your dentist, it's all right there. Don't really have to go many places. And my wife works like right out of her boss's house.
Yeah.
So one street over, so we're very, very local. When we get the chance to do a weekend away, it's always Brighton.
Yeah.
And we always like look forward to it, because it's always a good time.
Oh,
Always.
it is.
Yeah.
Brighton is a place that knows how to have a good time.
Yeah.
Actually, and I think its origins are that, when the Prince Regent came here 300 years ago, whatever, he came here basically to build a pleasure palace, and to have a lovely, very saucy time
Way to
about it.
honor him.
So we got hundreds of years of cultural entity of basic partying hard.
I
So
tell you, my biggest problem is that I like, find a good place to eat, have a couple of drinks or whatever, and then I get to the casino and nobody can get me out.
ah,
Yeah. Yeah.
well,
So
that's fine. I can wave you off on the doorstep.
it's just
Yeah,
like, yeah, that's it. That's pretty much me. Just dump me off there and then go
yeah.
have a good time. I'm like, it's terrible. But yeah, this time we'll do yeah, we'll just hang. We Where did we stay last time? I think we stayed at All Stars. Yeah, my for Gemma's birthday.
Yeah.
We went down there with another couple who's her friend's birthday is like 2 days, so they're right all together. And we stayed at All Stars and we had a blast, like, just hung out there, and it just felt casual and easy, and it felt gay. It felt gay AF. Looked out the window and all I could see was this huge rainbow flag sticking
Yeah.
out of the building. I'm like, yep.
Perfect. That's
Yeah.
all you need. Exactly.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that I love how you can just be open and free, and just not have any qualms about being yourself down there, because you can always find someone that's just a little bit weirder than you. And
Oh
I
my
love
God.
that.
you know, one of the things I absolutely love about Brighton is you have to try quite hard to shock people
Yeah,
here. So
yeah.
like where I live, there used to be, I don't know what happened to it, he's probably died or moved away or something, but there used to be this naked rollerblader who would rollerblade up and down Western Road, which is basically the high street, up and down past Waitrose, and you'd hear people tutting and muttering, but they would just be muttering like, that's gonna hurt if he falls over. It wasn't that, oh my
Yeah,
God,
it's like
what goes on? It was mainly like, that's just going to really smart. If you fall over on the tarmac, it's going to sting.
yeah, that's one of those things where you can't look away.
Yeah.
And you got all those thoughts going in your head. Yeah, like wolf. Oh
And
man.
it's and you know, I don't know if it's the same in London, but we have quite an active kind of free cycle community where you just leave stuff that still works outside your flat or on the pavement, and people pick stuff up and take it away. So you know,
Yeah.
actually it's an armchair or a wine rack or something like that. But my friend never managed to pick up with a, you know, free to good home thing, picked up all these harnesses and all sorts of bits and bobs that someone had just casually left outside the flat, and said, you know, save me a fortune. They'd obviously been
I was gonna
sponged
say
down.
that stuff's expensive.
Yeah. So yeah, so there's always something.
That's the thing too about Brighton. It never fails on the way home when you're, you know, driving and you're a little bit tired and you're making your way. There's always a conversation about everything that you saw.
Yeah.
You know? Like, you know, did you see that guy with the poodle that was like it was like a Crufts poodle, the
Yeah.
gayest poodle I ever saw, like that kind of thing, like all the way home.
I don't know the poodle you're talking about. Yes.
Probably well known. Oh my God. Listen, it's been so fantastic having you. And I'm in awe of everything that you're doing and have done. And I can't wait to see where this goes.
Oh, you're the cutest. Well, the States, obviously, that's your challenge, is you picked up homework from this, which you may
I've got
may
it. Come
not been
on.
expecting. Yeah, it's you know, our mission is all about taking the spirit of Brighton to the world. That's what
Yeah.
we're trying to do in every sense, and we're giving it a damn good go. And I think,
You are.
you know, as we come into the next decade of this adventure, we'll see what happens.
It's
next.
going to be fantastic. I can feel it in my bones.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.
Feel it in my
I think
bones.
so
I'm-
many bonkers things have happened over these years. You know, it's got the highest highs and the lowest lows,
Yeah.
and probably anyone who works themselves, has their own business, will probably say the same thing. You know,
Oh yeah.
highs
Heck
are
yeah.
amazing. The
Yeah,
lows are
there's
just
a lot of peaks and valleys, isn't there?
Absolutely.
It's the truth. But I'm going back in mid-March.
Mhm.
I'm doing Palm Beach Pride with my co-host JD, who's a singer. So we are working together March 25th. I'll be back at the end of March, and I'm gonna have a list of contacts for you.
Absolutely fantastic. And also, you need to send me your address, and I'll send you a little something to take to Palm Beach Pride. Put my
Oh yes.
which could be quite fun for some photos and bits and bobs. And then you get to, I mean, spoiler alert, you get to drink it at the end as well. So
Yes, that's the best part. I'll even share it with my mother.
yeah, excellent.
I'm good. I'm good like
Bit of
that.
encouragement, exactly.
Yeah, I'm an only child. I kind of have to.
Yeah.
Listen, you take care of yourself. Thank you so much for taking time out to do this. I so appreciate it.
My absolute super pleasure. Can't wait to see you in Brighton, and just
It was amazing to see you. Yeah, we're definitely going to get together. Have a good evening.
take care. Thank you so much.
Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch.
Like never stop chasing your dreams.
And I confess,
See?
my addiction is you.
We drank way too
Don't
much
ask me
whiskey.
why I'm here tonight. I had to take this midnight drive to find you. And as I come in through the door, I see her dancing on the floor beside you. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true. And I confess, my addiction is you. my mind consumes me in a shameful kind of sadness. Why do you always run back to the lover you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true. And I confess, my addiction is you. You are my drug, my ever-waking need. I got you in my blood. You've got me on my knees. Why do you always run back to the love you once knew? You're addicted to her touch, that's true. And I confess, my addiction is you. Why do you run? Why do you run?